Look at this dang duck. Get away from my kayak. You think you're gonna get a handout or what? I mean, I'm literally a foot from the thing. Anyway, today we are at the Chadakoin River, or I don't know if this is considered the Chadakoin River or Chataqua Lake. Call it the Chataqua Lake Outlet. We're launching at McRae Point. You can go up that way. It's a nice wetland, or down that way through the ugly city. Both ways, apparently, it's good fishing. I've never actually launched my kayak here and fished this section. Today's a bit windy, cold, nasty day. We had a lot of rain earlier, so I figure I should probably avoid the main lake because it's probably pretty choppy and not really very suitable for my kayak. It's also Labor Day weekend, so there might be lots of boats out. So we're going to try the outlet today and see what we can catch. I think we might first head towards the ugly city just because I think that area gets less fishing pressure. And see what we can catch. There's absolutely everything in here. Largemouth, smallmouth, walleye, muskie, you name it. Alright, into the ghetto we go. Hey, there goes a green heron. This bridge here is what separates the nice part of the Chataqua Lake Outlet from the ugly part of the Chataqua Lake Outlet. And personally, I think down here is probably going to be better fishing. My favorite places to fish are places that are in the complete wilderness that not a lot of people fish, and places that are either in the ghetto or really polluted that not a lot of people fish. Somewhere like, you know, the main part of Chataqua Lake Outlet, that nice wetland back there, very easily accessible, very pretty spot, a place where people are going to want to hang out and fish. You don't have pollution flowing into it like you do here. So yeah, that spot's going to get a lot more fishing pressure than this section of the river, which is ugly, there's pollution flowing in, and just not a nice place to fish, and thus, I think the fishing's, you know, better and more fun. Pretty gross back here. Storm drains flowing in, garbage just absolutely everywhere, but as you can see, nobody else is fishing here. So, there are no other boats. Hopefully we'll start catching some unpressured fish. Here folks, I came down here because I had a snag, and I just found something really interesting. This was not what I expected. I was snagged on something down here. What on earth? Looks like a piece of someone's remote control boat. It's an interesting find. Now the question is, I don't have a ton of room in this kayak. I sort of hate to leave garbage. I guess I'm just going to leave it here. There's enough litter around. I mean, I don't have time to take everything. I was hoping this would be something that I could bring back to life. It's just the outer shell of an old remote control boat. Interesting in any event. Fish of the day. Looks like a smallie. Yep. Came from under that log over there. He's splashing this nasty blue-green algae water all over me. Alright, get in the boat, get in the boat. This water's pretty gross. There's, once again, blue-green algae in this lake, just like there was on the Allegheny Reservoir. It's an issue here as well. Of course, the smallmouth is very, very unchill. Trying to get him off as quickly as I can before I crash into these weeds here. Never catch a fish and have it not be a disaster. There we go. Alright, fish is off, and I'm just going to release him before this becomes an issue. Too late. Almost made it out of there. Alright, we made it out. Okay, well, first fish of the trip. Let's keep fishing. Oh, I missed it. Went back to this tree that I just caught the smallmouth under. Sometimes smallmouth will travel in pairs or even schools, so figured it's worth it to go back to this log and take a few more casts. Alright folks, here in the middle of the city, and we got a mink. Just went under that tree. Figures as soon as the camera turned on, you can't, nope, you can kind of see it. He's running along the underside of that tree. Middle of the city, and we see a mink. There he is again. There he goes, he's going along the shoreline down there. You can see him running. There he goes. That is awesome. Cool. He's running. Mink running along the shoreline. I hope I'm getting him on camera. Wish I had my camcorder again. I could zoom in. That is really cool. Came off. Getting hits. Got him, finally. Algae's getting worse and the fishing's getting better. This one looks like a largemouth. He's not hooked very, very well. So he might come off when we try and boat flip him here. Nice. Largemouth this time instead of a smallmouth. Not terrible sized. Cool. Yeah, not a terrible sized largie. Well, I don't know, he's definitely not good size. He's like 13 inches and stocky. Alright, cool. Second fish of the day. Well, as you can see, we are now in the rain. Sometimes it improves the fishing. I think this is my first time being on the kayak in the rain. Here's the advantage of kayak fishing in a city that, to be honest, I did not even think about until now. Look at this, pouring rain right here. There's no rain. This is awesome. Alright, cool. I'm going to keep this in mind. From now on, whenever there's an iffy day, I think this is where I'm going to kayak fish. This is perfect. Either here or, you know, in the city of Olean. I had a bite there for a second, too. I did have a bite. I got a fish. Catching fish in this calm water here, too. This is awesome. Alright. I'm just sort of messing around. I was going to launch my kayak, or get off my kayak right over here. And we got another little smallmouth. Right, well that was cool. That's a good sign. That means we might just catch stuff fishing from shore over here. Alright, we're gonna hang out here till the rain stops. I did see a clap of lightning, so probably means we want to get off the water for now. Hey there, Mr. Woodpecker. Downy woodpecker right there. There he goes. Seeing just as much wildlife in the city here, almost, as we do in the country anyway. This looks like a place that you could park back here and potentially fish under this bridge. See? Finding bank fishing spots too. Well folks, the rain has now passed. I don't know if you can see that big red dot that was just on top of us. There's even a couple flashes of lightning, which is kind of freaky. But we're going to move on while we got the chance and keep kayak fishing. I'm going to keep this in mind from now on. Whenever the weather's iffy, this might be my go-to place to launch the kayak and fish. You got bridges you can hide out under. Definitely still fish down here. There's a fish on here. Well, the camera decided to do the dumb thing where it malfunctions as I'm reeling in, but we got ourselves another little tiny smallmouth. This probably is what was biting under this bridge that whole time we were on shore here. We're on shore and I kept getting bites, but couldn't hook them. I'm guessing that's what was biting, these little tiny smallmouth. Missed the smallmouth 3 times. Let's see if he bites again. I need to anchor up here. We're picking up speed and we've got some good water to fish. We have one, a little tiny one. It's not the big one that we missed. Granted, the one that we missed wasn't big. I got to look at it. It was about 14 inches. Just a little stupid smallmouth. It's not going to let me pick him up. The more you settle down, the more likely, the better I can get you out of the kayak. Alright, just a little stupid one. The wildlife list, we got kingfishers, and they're fighting. That's cool. Seeing all kinds of wildlife here on the outskirts of the city. This is an interesting area, that's for sure. Getting crazy back here. Another interesting area. Over here is where they release the warm water, looks like. Good to know. I bet this could be a good walleye spot come winter once the water starts getting cold. And we got ourselves a nice fish. We've got ourselves an... Oh, it came off. Oh, no. Oh, I'm talking to you guys. You distracted me. That was felt like the nicest fish of the day. We had a nice fish. It wasn't huge, but wasn't zip and drag, but that felt nice. What's that now? Is it a beaver or a muskrat? I think it's a muskrat. Yeah, it's a muskrat. All kinds of wildlife out here. Man, got a turtle go down right in front of us. Not sure if it was a snapper or a soft shell. There goes the helicopter. We've sort of reached the end of the line here. As you can see, the dam's behind me, and it's starting to get dark. So definitely time to turn around. But we are going to see what kind of goodies we can get out of this weedy area here. And on the way back, we're obviously not going to spend as much time fishing because it's getting dark, so we're just going to hit the spots where I missed fish and only hit those spots and just keep moving. Alright, well, we're officially heading back now. The other really weird thing about today, I started today, I was pretty chilly. Had my raincoat on and this sweatshirt on, and I was pretty cold. And now I'm actually really, really warm. Typically it gets colder as it starts getting darker, but this has been a really weird year, and today was a particularly weird day for the weather. Started off in like the low 50s, and by the end of the day now we're into like the 70s, and tomorrow it's supposed to get close to 80. Those of you that are watching this will know how weird of a Labor Day weekend it was this year. There's a heron. All kinds of wildlife down here. It's crazy. Man, potential, I think it's a bass. I thought it was a muskie for a second. We're just trolling with the X-rap. Could be a muskie. I have no idea. It's big, whatever it is. This is big. Might want to get the net ready. I think this could be a muskie. Holy freaking muskie. Holy. It's a freaking muskie. Got a freaking muskie trolling. I have no idea what to do. Never had a muskie kayak fishing before. Gotta tire it out. No, it's a carp. Carp. I figured it had to be a muskie to be a fish that big. Looks like he actually freaking hit the lure too. Either way, it's the biggest fish I've had in the kayak. He's taking me for a ride. He's taking me for a ride. Well, this is exciting. I need paddle. I should anchor up. Well, no, then I'll get tangled in my anchor line. I am just... Stop moving, dang it. Let's get him in the net as soon as we can. It's a big carp. Hopefully he doesn't break my rod. I think it's on the heavy action pole. With a muskie, we'd try and tire him out, being that it's a carp. I don't even freaking know what to do right now. He's not that big of a carp. He's got lots of energy, though. I missed him. Now he's not in the net yet. He broke the line. Gosh dang it. The lure got tangled in the net, and then the carp broke the line. He was in the mouth. That thing, I freaking hit the X-rap. That was not a good net job. Not a good net job. Wow. I don't even know. I don't know what to say about that. I'm just trolling along, and I had the X-rap trolling behind me, and a giant freaking carp decided to hit the X-rap. Holy cow. Ah, I'm so mad I missed him now. I don't know how I would have gotten that thing in the kayak anyway, to be completely honest. Man, that was just a terrible net job. The netting was facing the other way when he ran into it, and then the X-rap tangled the netting. And once the X-rap tangled the netting, you know, the X-rap was stuck, and the carp was able to get away. And I mean, you can't scoop up the carp with this like that. I need to get a rubber net, is what it comes down to for kayak fishing here. This type of net just isn't the right type of net for this type of fishing. That was crazy, man. That was crazy. Alrighty, folks. Well, what you just witnessed was probably the craziest 5 minutes I've ever had on the kayak. We're back to all systems go. I got the X-rap out of the net. Do I got him? Do I got him? I think I got him. I don't know if there's a fish on here or not right now. Don't know. We're trolling on our way back. There's a fish on here. A little tiny smallmouth. We're just making our way back now, and we're just trolling the X-rap behind us on the kayak and just waiting for stuff to hit it. And obviously stuff's hitting it. So at this point, I think we're just going to continue trolling our way back, and we're going to stop even casting. I was casting this tube around in areas where I missed fish on the way up. But at this point, I'm starting to have more fun trolling. This is my third or fourth hit now, not including this is my third or fourth hit now, and of course, we had that big carp trolling as well. Alright, well, we didn't get any more hits trolling. We're gonna call it quits here. I'm just gonna take a few last casts around this weed bed. It was interesting going through the ugly parts of the city, yet still seeing a lot of wildlife. What all we see today? We saw the heron, a mink, a muskrat, all kinds of cool stuff. Lots of neat waterfowl, and it was just an all-around fun experience. And that carp at the end definitely made things the most interesting. Shouldn't be hearing any gunshots out here. We're in the middle of the city. Anyway, yeah, that carp was definitely crazy. In the moment there, I was angry that I missed it, but looking back on it, it's probably just as well that that fish came off like it did. Even if I did get the thing in the net, it probably would have just gotten that X-rap even more buried, the hooks of the X-rap even more buried in the net, and it would have just been a disaster either way. There's no way that thing was actually coming into the kayak. It would have just been a disaster. So just as well that it came off. It wasn't my PB. Certainly one of the hardest fighting carp I've ever had on the line, man. That thing, he just didn't settle down at all. Carp will just run forever. Honestly, probably would have been better off hooking a muskie. It was just crazy, but definitely made for a fun time. Also missed that big bass, or missed something big behind the power plant there. Missed the two biggest fish of the day, the carp and whatever that was I missed behind the power plant, but still had a fun day, had a lot of action. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next fishing adventure.